If you are holding XRP right now, you are living through one of the most frustrating things in all of investing. Almost every piece of news is good. Money is flowing into the ETFs at record levels. Coins are leaving the exchanges. The regulatory picture keeps improving, and yet the price keeps falling. It broke through support that was supposed to hold, and it just kept sliding down. And so you may sit here and think, how is it possible? How can everything be this bullish while the price does the exact opposite? Today, I'm going to answer that question completely, because once you understand why good news and falling prices can happen at the same time, then this can stop feeling like a betrayal. Okay. And it starts to look like something that you have seen before, right before things turn. Don't miss out. By the way, I'm Kamilah Stevenson, and around here, we do talk wealth. Go ahead and like the video and subscribe if you have not already. And I want to say that this is not financial advice. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research and manage your own expectations. Drop in the chat for me and be honest on a scale of 1 to 10. How frustrated are you with XRP's price right now? Just give me a number. I want to hear from you. Now, I want to lay out the paradox first, because it is very striking if you would grab a hold of it and understand it. The money coming into XRP through the ETFs recently hit some of the strongest levels we've seen all year. At the same time, the amount of XRP sitting on the exchanges has been shrinking, which usually signals that people are pulling coins into long-term storage instead of getting ready to sell. So the number of wallets holding XRP has climbed to record highs, and we're watching this play out. Every one of those is what you would call bullish, meaning they point toward higher prices over time. And yet the price broke below a key support and just kept falling. And we're still a little suppressed at this point. We'll see if it rebounds and goes higher. This is what we call the accumulation zone for those who have conviction. And the weaker hands are eventually going to get washed out, especially if we get another leg lower. So at this moment, because of the low prices, there is a genuine disconnect. The fundamentals are pointing up while the price is pointing down. Now, let me explain exactly why this happens, because there are real reasons, and none of them mean what the panic is telling you they mean. Now, first, you have to understand that price in the short term and value in the long term are two completely different things. In the short term, price is set by something very simple. Whoever is more aggressive on a given day, the buyers or the sellers. It does not matter how good the news is. If on a particular day, the people who want to sell are more motivated than the people who want to buy, the price goes down, and that's it. The news can be wonderful, but if a large holder needs to sell, or leveraged traders are being forced out, or the broader market is having a fear day and everything is dropping altogether, the price falls regardless of how bright the future looks. Price in the short term is an emotional, mechanical thing. Value over the long term is about what gets built. They are not on the same clock, and they often disagree for a while. Now, the second thing is, and this is the big one, and that is the difference between ETF money and the rest of the market. When you hear ETF inflows are at record highs, that sounds like a flood of buying, and it is real buying. But here is an interesting part. The ETF inflows are one stream of money coming in, while at the same time, there can be much larger streams of selling happening elsewhere. Okay. So early holders, at times they want to take profit, and they are taking profit. And traders who borrow to bet on the price getting forced out of their positions, that's another thing. So the whole crypto market moving down together on a fearful day and dragging XRP with it, that is something that happens, and you have to be okay with that if you are a long-term holder. So this means you can have steady, impressive money coming in the front door through ETFs, while even more is going out the back door through selling and forced liquidation. The ETF number is real, but it is not the whole picture. It is one pipe filling the pool while the other pipes are draining it. And on some days, the draining wins. Okay. The third thing is the one that I want you to really recognize, because it is the part that reframes everything. So when an asset stops rising on good news, a lot of people read that as good news does not matter. But seasoned investors read it very differently. When price stops responding to positive fundamentals, it often means that the asset is in the late exhausted part of the downtrend, the phase where people who are going to sell have mostly already sold, and the ones who remain are not reacting to anything anymore because they're not going anywhere. The selling pressure burns itself out quickly while the headlines are still negative. It does not announce itself. It just slowly stops going down. And historically, that quiet exhaustion, good news met with a price that simply refuses to fall anymore, is often what the bottom of a cycle looks like while it's forming. Not a celebration, just a slow, boring stop. So pay attention to that. Now, if you put all of these pieces together, the fundamentals are pointing up because real things are being built and real money is coming in. But the price is pointing down because in the short term, selling pressure, forced liquidations, and broad market fear are overwhelming that buying on a day-to-day basis. And the reason that this is important and it matters is because these two clocks do not stay disconnected forever. The selling pressure is finite. There are only so many coins held by people who will panic, only so much leverage to flesh out. The building, on the other hand, keeps compounding. And at some point, the selling exhausts itself. And when it does, all that quiet accumulation, the coins that left the exchanges, the record number of holders, the steady ETF money is still sitting there. So eventually, that disconnect will resolve itself. It always does. And what you have to understand, or what you have to be pondering, is who in the world is still holding these assets when that happens. They are the ones that's going to be in the right position. Let me help you to understand something, because I always end here when I'm trying to talk about the price of these digital currencies, specifically XRP. I'm not telling you when the bottom is in. I am not giving you a price or a date or a prediction. Matter of fact, I am more intelligent when it comes to positioning over price. Okay. I know that to get positioned is the best thing you can do. And as a matter of fact, while the prices are manipulated and suppressed, the more positioning you have, the less of a move you need. Okay. So think about that. You're not wasting any time. Trust me, even if you wanted to go up and you're like, I would just feel so much better if it went up, you still probably don't have enough digital assets in accumulation. And so you would still need it to go up to a much higher price, okay, in order for you to really hit your financial freedom. So while we are in this suppressed stage for however long that is, if you will continue to accumulate and grow and develop and get your mind aligned, right, and learn how to build emotional intelligence in this game called the money game, I can promise you that you will probably be much better off in the future. As a matter of fact, in hindsight, when you look back after things do take off and we do enter into these parabolic stages, you will be thankful and very grateful that you have more time to position. You have time to also get your assets structured right as well. So you just have more time to become intelligent about how money moves, how to understand macro events in the environment, because all of this matters when it comes to your money. You have to understand what actually is moving the market. You want to give yourself some time to understand what's happening with treasury bonds, with the bond market, right? You have time to grow and to get educated. That is going to help you to become a better steward, a better manager over your money in the future. If things just took off today, I can guarantee you that there'll be less people on the other side of this who actually get a chance to hold what they have gained in the process. They will lose it before they even think twice. Your family is probably going to come for your money. They're going to make you feel guilty about the fact that they need help, because they're going to need help in this economy. And you're probably going to increase your lifestyle, just the same typical patterns that humans have. Okay. There is nothing new under the sun. But at the end of the day, I want you to use this time wisely. That's all I can tell you. And one of the wisest things you can do is to go ahead and protect your money. Protect yourself from losing the money that you'll gain. Okay. Set up wealth preservation mechanisms. One of the ways I do this is I do hold a portion of my digital assets inside of a Roth IRA through iTrust Capital. And the way I think about it is as simple as it can ever be. I am already being asked to be patient through the frustration. So the least I can do for my future self is to make sure that when the patience finally pay off, I actually get to keep the reward instead of handing back money over to the IRS. Inside of a Roth IRA, the growth is all mine. All that appreciation that happens is yours when you sell. If you sell, whatever that looks like. There are people who are using these accounts for their retirement, for business endeavors, for things that they want to accomplish, for their children, for their grandkids. You can label that. That is a personal preference. But all I know is there's an account over here that I don't have to pay any taxes on. And that secures your future. And it also secures that even if you do happen to make a mistake, that you have hedged your risk on the other side. And so this is an account that you just let grow, and all the other stuff you do, maybe you might make the right moves, maybe you do not. But either way, you have this account over here that you understand is totally yours and is the key to financial freedom. Because I'm telling you, if you store away some digital assets inside of a Roth IRA, you will see a huge return. And I think people are underestimating just how high some of these digital assets can go in the future. Okay. We got to have time perspective. You have to give it time. You have to have patience. And also, I do want to say that if the frustration of this market has you genuinely unsure about whether, to keep holding, to add, to restructure what you have, then that is what my clarity calls are for. They're built for that. You and I will go deep on your actual situation, holdings, timeline, goals, and you're going to walk away with a very clear personal plan so that you're not making decisions out of fear or frustration, but out of strategy that you can use. And when the market is testing your patience, the hardest is exactly when having a real plan is worth the most. Okay, so the link is in the description for that. Also, drop in the comments, what price are you going to load up on if XRP drops? Or what price are you going to sell if XRP drops? Are you one of those people that, hey, if it gets under this point, I'm out. I'm not losing on XRP. Maybe you got in real early and you're going to take some profit. I don't know. But I want to know, what price are you going to buy if it drops? Or what price are you going to sell if it drops? I can just let you know now, I am not selling in a bear market. Not today, not tomorrow, and not ever. I am going to wait to see how this plays out. And I'm going to be on the right side of this wealth transfer. And I pray that you are too. And as always, I want you to stay wise, stay wealthy, and I'll see you in the next video.